Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the MMA Kingdom, King JB is back. Today what I'm going to talk about is Dana White. From the beginning of the MMA Kingdom, I said I would never, ever speak poorly about Dana White. The thing about it is, though, the reason is simple. It's because I didn't want to be blacklisted. Everybody knows that anyone that says anything negative about the UFC or Dana White gets blacklisted immediately. And I've already now I'm blocked on Twitter, by Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta for having Dana White's mother on my radio show. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this for a second, all right? Dana White obviously is a tyrant. I do believe his mother, June White, and now I'm starting to feel bloodstained lane on some of the things he says. I don't really buy, it's not the Illuminati shit because Dana White's not that powerful. He can, he draws 13,000 people to his events. There's no question the UFC's growing and MMA's the fastest growing sport in the world right now. But Dana White himself is a wonderful promoter, but he's as a human being, that's not necessarily true. And see, as I talk about this, I didn't want to get blacklisted, but I gotta say fuck it, and I already know I'm going to anyway, because they blocked me just for having June White on the radio show. So let's go ahead and get to the basics. Dana White as an MMA promoter, great. I respect each and everything he does, perfect. Dana White as a human being, not so much. I read Dana White, King of MMA, by June White. I had her on the show, and I've watched him throughout his career. I do believe money changes some people, and I think it did Dana White. Dana White wasn't raised as a Southie in Boston. We all know that. He didn't even go there until he was 20. Dana White had his mom bail him out of a lot of fucked up situations. His mother was a great person to him, a great mother, and for him to bash her and disrespect her and call her, out of her name and say, shut the fuck up. I don't have a mother. My mother really deserves to be talked to like that. And for Dana White to do it, I think it shows his character. In the book, I'm going to tell you guys a story, man. Dana White had a 93-year-old grandmother. This past January, she got sick, and Dana White, basically came to her in the hospital and said, I'm flying you to Vegas. I'm going to have the best doctors in the world take care of you. He's rich. And we're going to take care of you. As soon as you get out the hospital, we're going to take care of you. I guess he thought she was going to die because when she came time to get out, she went home. You know how old people do. They brag to all their old friends. She went home and, my grandson, Dana White, he loves me. He's going to take me to Las Vegas, this beautiful city, and have the best doctors in the world help me. She's 93 years old. So she's bragging. She's got her bags packed. Dana White just never showed up. Never came to get her. Unfortunately, in May of 2011, 4 months later, she passed away. And she hadn't heard from Dana since January, when this happened, when she got sick. So Dana White basically promised his grandmother when she got out the hospital he was going to come take her, and then he never talked to her again, all the way to her death. As a grandma's boy myself, man, I can't respect that. And I'm willing to risk the MMA Kingdom completely to say Dana White, man, has a real serious problem. There's something really fucked up wrong with him. Another story, his sister, Dana White's sister is his son's godmother, and he was supposed to go to the christening, I guess one of her children was about to be christened. I don't know what that word is, christened or whatever. And Dana White was supposed to come, and he was supposed to be the godfather, and that's how that was supposed to be. Anyway, he showed up much late, real late, but he showed up. They all went the night before out, and They were supposed to meet up at a place. Dana White had a place the night before that for a special party. Anyway, his mother didn't know where it was at, or nor his sister. She kept calling, and his phone kept going to voicemail. So she eventually went to bed. She was supposed to call and get directions. Dana White never answered the phone. Then the next day, she hears that Dana White's not coming to the ceremony. So, you know, she goes, drives an hour to see him. He's already in the hotel packing, playing. You know, he's got his private jet waiting. He was really going to walk out on the day of the ceremony, on his sister. And him and his sister were tight rolling up. Tight. So, you know, he walked away. And, well, he was going to walk away. Anyway, his mother got him, and basically his mother kidnapped his son, Dana Jr., and took him to the ceremony. So Dana White had to go. And the only reason that he went to that ceremony was because he had to go. The sister later found out that that was the reason. Because the mother, June White, took little Dana. That's how it happened. And so obviously when his sister found out, she was furious. Because it's like, if he wouldn't have been blackmailed, so to speak, or whatever the word is, he would have never showed up. You know, look at how Dana White treats his people. Several occasions at UFC events, you know, June White used to go to these events. Dana White would just, she'd try to chime in on a conversation, and he'd look at her and say, "Shut the fuck up." Who does that to their mama, man, that loves them? You know? One time they're walking down the hall, and she's talking about Randy Couture, and he says, "Shut the fuck up, you don't know shit about Randy Couture." Hey, you know, what kind of shit is that? Truth of it is, man, Dana White is a pussy. He treats women like shit. We saw it with Loretta Hunt. And don't get me wrong, I'm the type of motherfucker, you know, if a motherfucker smack a bitch, I can kind of understand why. But, you know, it doesn't mean you just treat women like shit like that all the time. You see how he wants to eliminate the women's division. Dana White's got a problem with bitches. He's got a problem with women. He may be gay. His wife, Ann, is apparently just as fucked up. You know, they're tyrants. All they do is fight. They fight with each other. You know what I'm saying? They even get physical with each other, from what I understand. You know? And it's like Dana White and Ann White, man, they got serious problems, man. There's something wrong with them. And the way they treat June White is just disrespectful. I don't see how anyone can respect that. So as a person, Dana White isn't shit. You know, his mother thinks, you know, from the black eyes that he had, she talks about Rosemary's Baby, Bloodstain talked about it. It may be true. Dana White, do you forget that when your mother had, you know, got her $55,000 check due to her backup on Social Security disability, you know, she took that money when you were trying to start a business and had shirts printed, hats printed, jackets printed, all for you, because she believed in your visions. This is before the UFC. This is when you were trying to do that, what it was called, Bullerweiser or some shit like that, man. Some weird shit that you was trying to do, some clothing line, man. You know, come on, man. Let's just be real. You know, even as you got closer to the Fertitas, and you were doing your aerobic shit, man, you brought your assistant, one of them chicks, in there, and you just treated her like shit. And when she went to Lorenzo, you just fired her. You just do this shit with people all the time, man. You didn't like Kimbo Slice, man, really. And so he had one loss, one official loss in the UFC, and what'd you do? You fired him. You don't like Antonio McKee. So what'd you do? You fired him after one loss, split decision, which you probably should have won. Dana White, man, there's something fucking wrong with you, man. You need help. You know? And with me, you've already blocked me. You blocked Bloodstained Lane. Man, you really need to think about some of the things that you do, man. You can't take any criticism, man, and I don't understand why. You think you're God of this shit. Because you're not. You're just a fucking promoter. You are replaceable. And Lorenzo Fertitta, man, you want to block me too, man? I don't understand why, man. All I've done for the last 5 months, 6 months, is push your product. And you want to be like that? Fuck you. I'll deal with the Mark Pavlages and maybe the Bjorn Rebneys of the world, man. the Scott McCorkles, you know what I'm saying? Because it's obvious to me. It's obvious to me that that you have serious problems, man. You have a God complex, which I can feel you. I'm King JB, baby. But man, at the same time, bruh, you're the fucking devil, man. Seriously, there's something wrong with you. I wish you the best. I hope you get shit figured out. I bet you don't challenge me like you did Bloodstained Lane, though. Why don't you go ahead and send me them tickets? I will come down there and smack the shit out you. You know? Dana, I have no respect for you as a man. As a promoter, I do. Yeah, I love the UFC and I love what you do. But as a man, bruh, you ain't shit. June White, man, I love her to death now. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go get her book, Dana White, King of MMA. Because you'll see. You'll see the true Dana, man. And you have to believe it. This is coming from his mother, and his mother loves him to death. Dana and her hadn't talked since that situation where he did that to her sister. To his sister. They're not really cool like that since then. And I can understand why, man. There's only so much you can take. Dana White, why do you have all this money, but your grandma who died, you did her wrong, not just when she died and you let that woman die, but Dana White, why you also let her live in a trailer that she'd been living in for 40 years? Why does your grandma not have a nice house? Why does your mother not have a nice house? You always told her, Mom, I'll get rich and you'll never have to work another day in your life. You lied, Dana. You lied to everyone. You're a piece of shit. And I'm calling you out, man. Bottom line is, respond, man. Apologize to your fucking family. Fuck MMA. This ain't about MMA, man. But it is, because you're starting to take that attitude into the business. And it's going to fuck you in the end, bruh. You know, you're not Vince McMahon. You only own 10% of this company, man. Don't think that the Fertittas won't smarten up. And, you know, maybe they are stupid. They blocked me for no reason. Just because I had June White on the show. That's okay, though, because it lets me know you listen to the show, man. Thank you. MMA Affiliates Radio loves you, baby. You know what I'm saying? The MMAKingdom.com loves you. And that's true. You know, in the MMA world, we love you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you for shitting on other fighters, man, that ain't in your company. That's your business. That's your job. But shitting on your mom and your grandma and your sister and your nieces and nephews, bruh, there's something wrong with you, man. Blocking King JB when I've never said a bad word about you. You know, there's something wrong with you, bruh. Bottom line of it is, man, I was a Dana White supporter. I was a Dana White fan. And you fucked it up, man. You know? I'm telling you, you got a new enemy on your hands. All I'm asking for is for you to come on my show and admit this shit and say you're sorry, man. That's all you gotta do. It's at least just give your side of the story, man. Tell us that June White is wrong. Quit ignoring me. Anyway, I'm out this bitch, man. King JB, John Collins, whatever you want to call me. Just in case Dana wants to try to file a lawsuit. John Collins, Indianapolis, Indiana. About to be Cape Coral, Florida. Feel free to check me out, bruh. I'm here. Anyways, we out of this bitch.